Hello and welcome. Today we are in Hollywood and taking a long-awaited tour of Disney's original studio location just over in Burbank. We love studio tours and feel they are an essential part of any Los Angeles itinerary, but for some reason we never quite got around to visiting the home of our favourite production company, Disney. Well, actually, that is for one very good reason. It's really hard to get into, but we finally jumped through the required hoops and were on the way to Walt's original production facility to see where the magic really came to life. Before we get into the weeds of things, let's just state, this is one for the geeks. We all have different reasons and ways of loving Disney, but we consider ourselves sort of super fans. We are in it for the long haul and really appreciate the history and legacy of the company, probably more so than the modern output. We think this is why we love Disneyland over Disney World. It's the link to the past and the link to Walt himself that really triggers our love for the park, and it's this kind of interest in the Walt Disney legacy that really piqued our interest in visiting the studios. And after visiting, we really feel it is this kind of Disney fan that will really appreciate the tour. The tour is based around the history and legacy of Walt himself. You are walking in his footsteps, seeing the locations and places he actually built his legacy in, and it's more of a history walk than anything. To us, this is incredibly exciting, but if that side of the Disney story is less interesting to you, maybe this might not be your cup of tea. Our tour guide was charming, funny and interesting throughout, but she was also an epic Disney geek, which for us is perfect, but she seemed more to delight in the little nuggets of history she could dispense rather than being more generically entertaining. It was an intense deep dive into the history of Disney and its genius founder. To be honest, we knew a lot of it already. As we said, we are big geeks and have visited several Disney museums such as the Family Museum in San Francisco, another must-see for us Disney geeks, and watched just about every documentary we can find. But the joy of this tour was she was explaining these tales while stood in the exact spots that they took place. It was pretty moving, but if you are expecting the bells and whistles of some studio tours, you might be disappointed. This just isn't that kind of tour. It's a tour of a working facility with an incredible past that is brought to life by the storytelling of the guide. For a large part, we were simply looking at pictures on a wall. The joy of this tour came from the magical retelling of the Walt Disney story by our incredible guide. So yeah, this is one for us geeks out there, rather than the casual Disney fan. There is very little in the way of Marvel, Star Wars, or even the latest Disney franchises. This is all about classic Disney, and the magic started off by Walt himself. First of all, tours are only available to members of the D23 fan club, and the dates are extremely limited and only released on a drip basis. Our tour had only 8 participants and was sold out, with only 3 tours per day on select dates only through the summer. This is a working studio, and not one that is geared up for tours like Universal and Warner Brothers. This is a unique glimpse into the animation studios, and very few concessions are made for the tours. It is us that make concessions for the studios, as we are literally mingling amongst the workers of the studio. So to book the tour, you first need to join the fan club. The good news here is there are no restrictions on this and anyone can join as long as you pay the subscription fee. In fact, general members can book for themselves and one guest, and general membership is actually free. However, the Gold Essential membership gets a discount, and for us this was more than the general membership fee, so it made sense for us to go for the upgraded plan at $49 a year with a selection of goodies. It made less sense to upgrade to the Gold Choice plan, which just provided us with extra Disney goodies for a total of $99, but as we are suckers for unique Disney merch, we went for the Gold Choice plan. There is also a higher tier, Gold Complete, but that is a whopping $299 and only gets you more merch and didn't really seem good value. After joining the club, you can then access the walking tour booking portal and book your preferred time and date. These are only released a couple of months out and sell out really fast, as they are really limited, so don't delay. At the time of making this, all tours are sold out for 2025, so if you want to visit, you're going to have to wait till next year. These tours are quite expensive. Overall, we paid $204 for the tour for 2 of us, as well as $134 for the membership, including shipping of the merch that came with the Gold Choice plan. But in the end, for what we got, this was an utter bargain. We pulled into the parking lot at Burbank Studios after a couple of false arrivals at the wrong gate. The security guard had a full list of arrivals and had our guest passes printed out waiting for us. Parking up in the lot, we were getting pretty excited. At the entrance to the campus, we were greeted by a representative who checked us in and explained the unfortunate no filming rule. No filming is of course very problematic for anyone trying to make a YouTube video about the tour, like us. How do we shoot a video if we can't shoot video? But it's their house and their rules, and we are not ones to disrespect the wishes of others. We were allowed to take as many photos as we liked, and we planned on taking a whole bunch to bring you a kind of glorified slideshow of the entire tour. So sorry about the lack of video, but them's the apples. While we waited for the tour, we were invited to look around the campus entrance area and the gift shop, which was obviously very dangerous, but we managed to escape there with our wallets unscathed. At least for now. We then met our guide after a short wait and then commenced the tour. The first part of the tour explains some of the first buildings in the area. These were interesting as they were mainly some of the original buildings used when the studio first opened in 1940, after moving production from Hyperion in Silver Lake. Most of these have been repurposed, including the gift shop, but this is where it all started. We also admired the topiaries that they are very proud of due to the fact that the originals all died in the desert climate. Then it was on to Pluto Corner, where the famous duck is said to have relieved himself. Note the super cute drains with a Nemo-themed warning sign. We then went past the Sherman Brothers stage and then the staff cinema before hitting the old animation building. This is the original building where many of the original films were actually animated between 1940 until 1985, meaning some of Disney's most iconic films were all created inside this building. While it is now mostly used for offices today, this really is where all the magic happened. The tour here is largely confined to the corridors and uses the artwork hanging on the walls to tell the story of the animation department and how the team went about creating the feature-length animations. This part is fascinating, but really you are just looking at pictures on the wall. But some of these are concept art, some actual frames, development drawings, and you really get the sense these should be in an art gallery somewhere. Some of these pictures must be worth a fortune. Priceless in fact. While the tour guide explained the process of animation, we just marvelled at the amazing imagery that was on display from some of our absolute favourite franchises, such as Moana, The Lion King, Aladdin, and many of the Disney classic films. It was absolutely fantastic. We also got to see some cool prop books, including Deadpool, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and the actual Bookie Wookie from Hocus Pocus. This part of the tour took around an hour, with the end portion showing some fantastic photos of Walt's life and times at the studios. Following this is where the tour really took a turn for the incredible. The next part of the tour took you into Walt's actual office. This was disassembled after his death, but has been painstakingly recreated for the tour, and it remains here as a living tribute to the great man. The first section is his reception and waiting room, where we got some complimentary water along with some cool gifts that now sit pride of place on our wall. Then it is off to his main office and meeting room. His desk here is a replica, but we get to see the real thing later, but the entire room has been recreated to almost exactly how he had it during his time at the studio. The weighty sense of history really hangs in the air here, and you can almost smell the tobacco smoke hanging in the air as Walt made deals and planned future films and endeavours. Endless classics were penned out here, and designs and concepts for the theme park revolution he conceived with Disneyland were enacted right here. It was an incredibly moving experience, and one made all the more tear-jerking by the several Little Mermaid statuettes dotted around the office, something that would become incredibly poignant later in the day. We got to see Walt's personal kitchen, and a description of his diet, along with loads of historical photos of the construction of Disneyland, along with the conceptual plans of Disney World. It was all fascinating and very moving, and definitely the highlight of the tour. It's one of those locations that has to be felt. The seismic effect of history really can be felt in the fabric of these rooms, and if you think that is just hyperbolic, you probably do not fully understand the impact the Disney Corporation has had on the entertainment industry. Next on the list was the Legends Plaza. This had been taken over somewhat by a certain cuddly alien, but don't expect that on every visit, as this was primarily for the release of Lilo and Stitch. Here you will find the plaques to all of those inducted into the Hall of Legends at Disney. We had a great time hunting out the plaques of those who have made a significant contribution to the company, some very famous and a few we have never heard of, who made their contributions behind closed doors. There is also a partner statue, one of 5 in the world, Let us know in the comments if you know where the other 4 are. And this is one of the only ones where you will be able to grab a photo of you, Walt and Mickey without a gaggle of tourists in the background. You can also take a seat with both Minnie and Roy, who are permanently seated on one of the benches. You also get some great views of the 7 dwarves holding up the roof of the Michael Eisner building. We could have spent hours here, but the tour must go on. One common phrase used by the tour guide was, "This isn't the original, that is over in the archives." We got a bit sick of this and got the distinct impression we were going to miss out. But after the Plaza, the next stop was the Frank G. Wells building and the archives. This is an utter treasure trove of memorabilia, actual Disney merch, real movie props and items belonging to Walt himself, including that desk we spoke of earlier. It really was hard to know where to look, with iconic and probably priceless artifacts everywhere. Even the merch was incredibly important, as remember, Disney was the first to start pushing merchandise for their films and basically invented the concept of selling movie-related items to boost the revenue of popular franchises. Something that is incredibly widespread today, so much so you never really give it a thought. And it was only 70 years ago that this was basically unheard of. Finally, after leaving us unsupervised for a few moments, our guide returned with one final treat, an actual Oscar for us to grab a photo with, which was a really nice touch. The next couple of stops were not real stops, and we didn't actually have access to them, but we were in the vicinity, so we were shown a couple of cool locations. First, Marvel Studios HQ. This was on the floor above and we only got a peek, but we could see some really cool stuff inside. The next was the Star Wars offices, which had some very strict filming embargoes on, and we were not even allowed photos here. But there was some cool memorabilia in the foyer, and as we were looking, a very high-end Star Wars exec came strutting out of a meeting. These 2 stops were fun additions to the tour, but not worth coming just for them, as access was so restricted. We then headed back outside for the final section of the tour. First, the ink and paint building, where the line-drawn cells had Technicolor paint added to them. We then headed out into the filming lots. This is very much an active part of the studio, and photos were again restricted, as it was possible to glimpse inside of active studio productions. We strolled around the sound stages and even got a peek inside one, bringing back that unforgettable smell of a soundstage. We got some nice close-up views of the Disney Water Tower and a quick glimpse of the new animation building just across the street. And finally, we headed past the film archive. We have mentioned how some of the things we have seen earlier on this trip could be priceless. What is contained in that building really is priceless though, as it houses the original copies of pretty much every Disney movie. And then, unfortunately, that was it. We were back at the main campus and finished the tour Disney style in the gift shop and commissary, where this time the wallet ended up taking a bashing on this very limited Loungefly purse. Overall, the tour blew away our expectations. We honestly didn't really know what to expect, as after all, Disney is a large animation studio, and there are only limited things they could actually show you, as most of it is either drawings or on a computer. Were they just going to show us someone's desk? But in actuality, we saw so much, far more than we could have hoped for. Sure, it's definitely one for the geeks, but if you made it this far in the video, that's probably you. So our advice is to stop doing what we did. We have put this tour off for so long, always finding excuses and doing other things. But on leaving the tour, we couldn't believe we had put it off for so long. We think the hoops you need to go through to book a tour have always put us off just enough to never get around to doing it. If that's you, stop procrastinating, sign up to the D23 fan club and get your tour booked. We promise you, you will not regret it. This is easily the best studio tour we have been on, and really opens your eyes to the magical history of this incredible company. For reference, our tour was at 2:30 PM and we were back in the car for 5:15. We had enough time before the tour to drive over from Disneyland and do a Premium Plus studio tour at Warner Brothers right before this tour. We have this video coming up, along with loads more Disney, California and USA travel content, so make sure you subscribe for all that. As a fitting end to this amazing experience, we headed over to a local cemetery to say goodbye to the great man himself. We won't share the exact details of this location, but they can be found online if you are determined. While here, we didn't take many photos, just took a moment of quiet, tearful reflection to a fantastic human being, and to the huge joy that he has unleashed upon the world. Thank you so much, Walt.